guys, welcome back to the channel, and yeah, you joined me today and I'm out on this. So this is the Voge DS525X. I have done a review on one of these bikes before, so just bear with me, there is a reason for it today. This is the first used 525X that's hit the market, and don't be thinking that that is because there's anything wrong with these bikes. There's not. The reason this has been Part X is because the previous owner loved this bike so much. When he heard about the big brother, the DS900X coming to market, he just had to have one of those. So he Part X'd this for his new baby. So he obviously likes the Voge brand because he's upgraded from one to another. Now the bonus of that means that if you're looking for one of these bikes, there's a bit of a bargain to be had. So let me take you through some figures first of all. So one of these bikes, brand new, currently, and I think these are cheap brand new, they're £6,000. So £6,000 plus the on the road, which is around £250 thereabouts. But that gets you a fully equipped touring machine. £6,250, you can get a bike like this, brand new. I think it's a lot of bike for that sort of money. However, this is a used model. So it means that some unfortunate person who loved this bike, loved it so much he wanted the bigger version, but they have had to take the VAT hit on it. Now what that means for yourselves is that you get to save a lot of money buying a used one. And I don't want to come across as though I work for Moto, because I don't. But if there's a big saving on an already cheap bike, I wanted to share it with you. So I've seen it in the shop and I've asked them if I can bring it outside, have a little go on it and just share the news with you. This bike is currently up for sale for £5,399. So the difference between this bike and a new bike is around £850. So that's the first saving I want to tell you about. Now this bike has only got 1,600 miles on the clock. So it's still as good as new as far as the miles go. 1,600 miles, it's a weekend away tour, isn't it? You could do that. So I think the miles on this are still really low. However, what that means for you from a savings point of view means it's already got to its first service, it's already been serviced, and that would be a cost of around £150. So that's another saving for you guys. This has also had a data tool tracker fitted to the bike at a cost of £350. So that's another saving that's being passed on to you guys. So with everything all in, you're talking a saving of £1,350 off the new bike. So if you bought a brand new bike, had the tracker fitted, got your service and all that, £1,350 saving buying this one. That makes this, what was already a good bike and a good price, an absolute steal. So is it a used bike bargain? I've got to say, yeah, I'm going to take it for a ride just to kind of experience it and to show you. But I've got no doubt this is going to ride like a brand new bike. I'm sure it will. But join me and we'll find out together. Would I recommend it? I'm going to say yeah before I even ride it. Looks, equipment, the current saving, it's just an absolute steal. Let's go for a quick ride. I know it's going to be good. I know it is, because the bike looks pretty much as new as you would expect a bike that it's had a little bit of use but not a lot. So let's go for a ride, let's see what it's like, and yeah, I'll try and convince you a little bit more, but I would like to think you don't need convincing at this point, because the saving on this is big enough that a bike that was already cheap is now even cheaper. Before I go for a ride though, it's got to be done. Excuse the helmet on the back, I'm just ready to ride, but I want to just give you a bit of a refresh of what this bike looks like all the way around. And I'm sure you will agree that this is an absolute steal. It's still on a 24 plate, so if you are bothered about the latest plate, it's still a 24 plate. It's essentially a new bike with a monster saving. But look at how good that looks. Does look brilliant. This is definitely my favourite colour scheme for them, with those gold wheels as well. This is fully loaded, comes with the luggage. Yeah, let's just go and ride it. I've already done a review of this bike, so today isn't really about reviewing the whole spec of this bike, because I've done that before. It's about really the bargain that is the Voge DS525X. Now these bikes, they do retail quite cheap anyway, don't they? I'd be more than happy to go and tour the world on one of these, because they are really comfortable bikes. They've got enough power, don't get me wrong, they're not the fastest bike on the road, but for a bike to go and do a tour, I don't see why not. It's certainly got the equipment for it. It is ready to tour. The Voge experience, the Voge price is a big one for me, because you get so much on these bikes as standard, and I wanted to show you a used one to see really how it's held up. Now it just rides like a brand new one, as you would expect. This is an absolute bargain, this bike. It was a bargain new, and now you're saving even more money. It's just an even bigger bargain, and it's a delight to ride. It really is a comfortable bike to ride, and I'm sure the previous owner wouldn't have sold this bike if the 900 hadn't have come along, which it has, and the official launch is literally days away. So I can see why you would swap if you wanted that little bit of extra power with a few more extra toys. I can see why you would swap it for its bigger, more expensive brother. I can, but I can also see an argument for why you don't need to as well, because this bike is plenty fast enough. It'll do motorway speeds all day, it'll ride around town all day, and yeah, you'll just have a nice, comfortable and nice experience. And I might just add, this is currently the first used one in the UK, and that's how good these bikes are. The people who buy them, they don't want to get rid of them, because they buy them and they're impressed with what they get for the money. And I'd love to hear from people who've bought them. I'd love to hear your experience, because everything I've heard, all the feedback I've heard currently, is that people are just really, really made up with the bikes, and they're obviously more than happy, and they've kept them. And as I've said, the only reason this one is for sale currently is that the previous owner was that impressed with the quality of this bike. As soon as he heard about the 900 hitting the UK, he wanted the 900 because it was just a little bit more power, and that's it really. I mean, this has got enough power and it's a lighter machine, but the 900 is going to be a little bit more in every way, but you pay that little bit more as well, don't you? And I know they're cheap at £9,000 on the road, so they're cheap for what they are, but in comparison this is much cheaper. Would you swap one of these for a 900? I think the majority of people will probably say you don't need to, and I would say it all depends what you want them for, because both of them will be more than adequate at doing a nice long tour. Both of them come very well equipped, and they look very similar. Just looking at the 900, oh, I'll not just pull straight out. So looking at the 900 and the 525 next to each other in the shop, they're very similar. Yeah, it's, you know, it's not a small engine bike, it's a mid-size adventure bike, so performance is not really an issue with it. It really isn't. This will do 70 plus all day long, I'm sure, and you'd do it in absolute comfort. There just isn't another one because everybody else has kept them. £1,350 cheaper than going buying a brand new bike. £1,350 for the sake of 1,600 miles. So let that sink in, because for me, yes, there is something to be said about new bikes, and new bikes are brilliant. You're the first person to ride it, but a saving of £1,350 means that you could use that money, and with that money, why don't you go on your first tour? Because I'm sure you could do a nice tour to well, you could do a tour around Europe, I'm sure, for the price of 1,350. So it's kind of like buy the bike and get a free tour. Look at it that way. I know from experience, I've been touring Europe several times, and when I've done it for less than that, including the ferry or the Eurostar or Euro, what's it called now, the Le Shuttle or whatever it is. I've done various different types of tours over to France and beyond, and yeah, they've cost less than that. So it's kind of like getting a free holiday if you were working it out like that. And again, just for the sake of having a few miles on. And from riding this bike today, it still rides like a brand new one should. So yeah, I'm gonna have to say this is a one hell of a used bike bargain. It doesn't stop people like that pulling out in front of you, mind. You're still gonna get people like that no matter what bike you're on. You just have to be careful. You have to be careful, and you have to expect it, don't you? And that way you stay the right way up. And again, do you know what? I think I must have a little sign on me at the minute that says, please pull out in front of me. That's just standard, isn't it? When you go out riding a bike, you've got to be careful. And as just seen, within a matter of minutes, I've had two people pull out in front of me. So yeah, be careful out there, boys and girls. I'm taking this back now to Into Moto, and yeah, it gets an absolute massive thumbs up from me. I can't rave about these bikes enough. I've said it many a time with Voge, especially these DS525s and now the 900 as well. These bikes are an absolute steal. The kit that comes on them, the performance, the look, the whole package of these bikes is an absolute steal. And to find the first second-hand one in the country and to have such a big saving means that, as I said on the little ride, you could be riding this bike across to Europe with the money that you've saved on it, have a week's holiday, come back, and yeah, it'll probably still be cheaper than buying the new one. So there's a lot to be said for buying a used one. I would still recommend a brand new one, because brand new ones, they're still a nice bargain. But in this one, you just your luck's in, I suppose. Somebody else has took the big VAT hit from buying it new, so the savings passed on to you. So if you're interested, Into Moto currently have this one available. I don't know how long it's going to be here for. I don't know. I really don't know, but I wouldn't expect it to hang around long for the price and the savings that's on this bike at the minute. So if you're interested, be quick. And for now, from me, it's catch you on the next one. Laters.